Bombshell tonight in the Nolan Wells investigation. Tonight, a Nolan Wells phone evidence torpedo. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
All but, I believe, one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me that they all passed.
Nancy, my clients have not taken a polygraph test.
Nobody's guilty, and everybody's a suspect. We don't know the truth yet, but we will.
We have had multiple witnesses reach out to us, two confirmed witnesses that saw Nolan Wells on the island around 6 p.m. on July 4th, well after the Triton, as you said, left around 4:30. And so those witnesses have went to investigators, they've talked to the police, and they've done what they're supposed to do. These witnesses know Nolan. They've known him for a long time. They were able to make a positive ID. And they told that to investigators. They told them that from the very start.
What witnesses? Where? Who, what, where, why, and when? That is a renowned trial lawyer named Tyler Cox, and he is representing the acquaintances of Nolan's that took him to Horn Island on their boat, the Triton. Curious, we've seen, hey, let's pull up that video control room of everyone getting on the boat before they went to Horn Island. It's very interesting, evidentiarily. Okay, here we go. This was from the Officer Tatum show, and you're about to see people. There they are down at the right. And there's actual video of people see the boat at about 1 o'clock. Oh, there we go. Excellent shot, guys. People are getting on, people getting off. And it keeps going to where you see everybody that got on the boat. But here's my big question tonight, before I can even get to the alleged witnesses that Tyler Cox is telling us about. Dave Mack, joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Can I see the video again, please? Dave Mack, I'm seeing everybody preparing the Triton to go out, preparing to go out. In this shot, they're down at about 3 o'clock. Okay, keep looking. 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then suddenly you switch to a different camera. There you go. That's the boat. So, Dave Mack, where is the evidence? Where is the video of the boat? Is that Nolan right there? Walking along the light blue shorts, and he at that time had on a white shirt. I think that's Nolan right there. Dave Mack, where is the evidence, the video evidence of them coming back?
Nancy, we have not seen evidence of them coming back. Remember, 3 boats caravanned out to the island, and then we have different stories about when they arrived back on the mainland. But we don't have video of any of them showing back up. So we don't have that
video.
Correct.
Okay, let's circle back to the alleged witnesses that... He's a great trial lawyer, by the way. Wins a lot of cases. This is Tyler Cox. He's representing the acquaintances that went to Horn Island with Nolan. I've got to get to the phone torpedo, but he's not the only one that says they have witnesses. Listen.
These 2 witnesses, 2 very reliable, very credible, and very upstanding members of the community, they saw Nolan, and they've known Nolan for years. There's no chance that they made a mistake. And by the way, this can be corroborated through other evidence, other eyewitness accounts. And that's the end of it right there.
That's from the Officer Tatum show. Susan Hendricks joining me, veteran investigative journalist, author of Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi. What witnesses? I understand that there's video and witnesses. One places him there at 5, one places him there at 6. Significance, the Triton, and we can show this by GPS. They are right about this, left Horn Island around 4:30. So if he is spotted, and you can confirm to me that he is spotted there at 5 or 6, If that video has a timestamp on it and I can corroborate that, or I can corroborate the witnesses weren't drunk. Hey, let's see that video control room again of Nolan bent over and all you can see is his blue trunk right there. Now that's not a very good eyewitness right there, okay? Do I think that's him? Yeah, I do. I do think that's Nolan. But I would tear that up in court. Tear it to shreds. There's all sorts of, you know what? Hold on, Susan Hendricks. Greg Morse joining me, veteran trial lawyer, founder of Morse Legal. He's in the Southern District of Florida, former West Palm Beach public defender, and author of The Untested. Greg, in Florida, as in Georgia, as in this jurisdiction of Mississippi, the code, the official code of Mississippi, annotated, lays out how you establish or cross-examine, same thing,
As district attorney, I do not have the same freedom to share information publicly that private individuals may have. That is not a theory. That is a sentence from Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers McElrath's August 18 statement concerning the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. And that sentence matters because while the government is saying there is a limit to what it can publicly discuss, the internet is doing the opposite, collecting footage, comparing timestamps, preserving posts, and asking whether the digital record tells a different story. Picture the case as a crime scene made of glass. Every TikTok clip, every timestamp, every phone record, every boat photograph is another shard. None of them, by itself, tells you what happened. But put enough pieces on the table, and you may begin to see the shape of what investigators are looking at. Before we go deeper into what the documents and newly circulating footage actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Project Cold Case, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. Now there is an important distinction we need to make immediately. TikTok users are circulating additional footage connected to the Horn Island gathering, but footage being circulated online is not automatically authenticated evidence. Some clips can establish time and location. Some can establish who was present. Some can be misleading. And some may eventually become important precisely because investigators can verify their original metadata. That distinction is everything. Because Nolan Wells disappeared after a 4th of July trip to Horn Island, Mississippi, and his body was recovered 2 days later, his family has questioned the early assumption of accidental drowning, while authorities have said the investigation remains active and that the case is expected to go before a grand jury. An independent autopsy commissioned by the family was unable to determine a definitive manner of death. Now enter the footage. One previously surfaced video appeared to show the boat associated with Nolan's final known movements. Reporting on that clip noted that the footage was posted as having been captured earlier in the day, while metadata reviewed for another version indicated a different recording time. That does not prove anything sinister. It proves something more basic. The timeline needs to be tested. And that is where social media becomes potentially useful, not because TikTok is a courtroom, but because ordinary people sometimes preserve fragments that official investigators may later need to locate, authenticate, and compare. The question is not, what does TikTok believe happened? The question is, what can the original files prove? That is a very different question. The public record already tells us that Nolan's family has pursued digital evidence through formal legal channels. In July,
sometimes years or even decades later, depending on the condition. But as Shetler just pointed out, in these conditions where the surface of the boat is exposed to water, to wind, to contamination, not so much. I'm going to circle back to Jeff in just a moment regarding any possibility of tracking human decomp or human scent on Horn Island. The thing is, we know he was there. So we know the dogs will hit on him being there alive, but what about dead? I also want to clear something else up, and this is really important. Greg Morse, these acquaintances that went out on the beach, I'm not razor locked on them. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at everybody. Who are these two witnesses? If they are telling the truth, that Nolan Wells was on Horn Island at either 5 or 6 o'clock, then the acquaintances on the Triton are in the clear. Because Morse, I know, based on their GPS, what time they left the island. So
Well,
we have to keep our minds open as to what, who, what, where, why, the whole shebang. We can't lock in on those acquaintances if they had already left and he's still on the island. Is that true? I don't know. But it could be, right? Many an investigation has failed because the prosecutor did not keep their mind open as to potential suspects, right?
well, that's 100% right. You know, the police have to keep an open mind. Here, it's not even a criminal investigation. So 6 weeks approximately has gone by. The folks that were on the boat with Nolan, nothing has come out even remotely to indicate they were involved in some foul play at this point at all. They're just people that went out to this island with their friend. It appears their friend may have stayed afterwards, and maybe a tragedy happened. Maybe something else happened that wasn't involving them.
A tragedy did happen.
6
Nolan
weeks.
Wells is dead, and I'm going to find out how. But I tell you
Sure,
what,
but you're talking
I
about
am
6
curious
weeks.
about
This is
why no
this is
polygraphs have been
isolated.
taken. I'm just
Why?
very curious.
But why?
But many
Why?
defense
For
lawyers
what?
wouldn't dream of letting their
They're
client
not
take drugs.
suspects.
Let me get to
But
the phone.
Nancy, you're turning
Oh, dear Lord.
what's
Of
not a
course they're
criminal
not suspects. You
investigation
said that
and
10
want the
times. You're
trappings
wasting
of
my time.
one.
Stop it.
But when you talk about
I see
polygraph,
his lips moving. I hear. Okay, yeah, just keep him just like that. Yeah, that's the way I like Morse. Don't hurt your head, Morse. Don't hurt your head. Okay. Susan Hendricks. Oh, my stars, Hendricks. The family is now seemingly being accused of...
Court documents filed in Mississippi State Chancery Court sought records from Meta platforms, Snapchat, TikTok, and Life360, including messages, photographs, videos, GPS information, timestamps, account information, and other electronically stored data. Think about that for a moment. A grieving family did not merely ask strangers online to investigate. They went to court. And the court filings matter because they convert a social media mystery into a legal evidence problem. What was posted? When was it posted? Who controlled the account? What device created the file? Was the file edited? What does the original metadata show? And most importantly, what communications existed before and after Nolan disappeared? Those are questions a forensic examiner can potentially answer. And here is where the story gets even more interesting. The family and the district attorney's office had previously agreed to a joint forensic examination of Nolan's phone, with the digital forensics lab at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College identified as the proposed location and possible FBI participation discussed. But by mid-August, the examination still had not occurred. The family's attorneys said they were ready and asked the DA's office to choose a date between August 18 and August 21. The DA's office, meanwhile, has emphasized that it cannot publicly disclose investigative details and that it does not control information released by private parties. Different institutions, different obligations, one unanswered timeline. And here is the ticking clock question: if the phone's social media accounts and original video files contain evidence about Nolan's final hours, how long can that digital trail remain perfectly preserved before accounts change, files disappear, metadata is altered, or memories become less precise? That is why this is not simply an internet argument. Digital evidence has a clock. And once you understand that, the phrase "more footage" takes on a different meaning. It is not automatically a bombshell. It is a potential timestamp. That is the first turning point. No stone unturned. Now consider what the newly surfaced material can and cannot establish. A video showing Nolan or his boat at a particular time can potentially challenge a claimed sequence of events. A video showing other people nearby can establish opportunity, but not guilt. A clip showing an argument can demonstrate that an argument occurred, but not what happened afterward. This is where responsible analysis has to slow down, because the internet has a tendency to take one frame and build an entire verdict around it. We are not...
So, yeah, there's a lot going on with the most important part of the evidence.
There was no way by
that
the
we
time
have.
they find out about the letter that they could comply with the 48-hour requirement. Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Please join us on Crime Stories and stream it first on Fox 1. When breaking crime news develops, we investigate it and bring it to you. Bombshell updates, answers to unanswered questions from cases making the headlines and cases you may never have heard of until Crime Stories. We go inside investigations with exclusive interviews, crime victims, families seeking justice, investigators, experts, and sources from within the case itself. Stay on top of the nation's biggest trials with us, including gavel-to-gavel coverage with real-time analysis. Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. Stream it first on Fox 1. I hope to see you there, and thank you, friend. If you know or think you know anything regarding the death of this young man, Nolan Wells, dial 228-769-3063. Repeat, 228-769-3063. We are not letting go of the Nolan Wells investigation. Tonight, we remember an American hero, Deputy Sheriff Brian Philip Gross, Converse County Sheriff's, Wyoming, just 29, killed in the line of duty, leaving behind grieving wife turned widow Amy. American hero, Deputy Sheriff Brian Philip Gross. Thank you to our guests, but especially to you for being with us tonight and our search for the truth, wherever that may lead us, in the Nolan Wells death. Nancy Grace signing off for tonight, but I'll see you tomorrow night. And until then, good night, friend. Hi, guys. Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. And if you're on the go, please join us on your favorite podcast app where you can get all our content, where we, in our way, seek justice.